Hello, Dale Majors here, and welcome to day number 3 of the New Year's Resolutions Masterclass. And today, we're going to share the first part of the framework for creating goals and creating a plan that motivates you, that really gets you jazzed to continue it. I'm also going to share with you a little bit about one of my heroes. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to talk about one of the dangers of goal setting in general and how we can neutralize it. So we're going to share the first part of the framework, which we call the HATS model. And H stands for hope. A is for actual outcome, T is for tactics, and S is for specifics. Today we're going to talk specifically about the hope and actual outcome. And first, I want to give you a feel for what hope actually means and to give you an idea of how you can deploy it in your life. I want to tell you about the inspiration behind a lot of venture anyway, is actually one of my friends, Spencer. So Spencer is known as the guy who just gets out there, and even though maybe he shouldn't be doing certain things, or he shouldn't be brave enough, or he shouldn't, take that risk or that risk, he just does it. To tell you a little bit more about him, this guy, he had a chance to go visit a friend in Africa. And on that trip to Africa, he didn't even know where he was going to stay, but he ended up finding some guy with an extra spare bedroom, and in exchange for something, he stayed with him for 2 months. And then on the way back, Spencer had a 1-week layover in Rome, and during that week, he didn't get a hotel, he just stayed in a park and basically met people that would buy him food. Just different girls. He was a nice guy and very friendly, and he got his meals paid for, I guess. But just an amazing guy. The guy is very aspirational. He is set to be the world's greatest architect, and he's done everything in his power and path to basically pursue that dream. He's very dream and goal oriented, and he's always been an inspiration for me. So even in the logo, we even built in kind of a likeness of him. I'll show that. And in our kids' story, we have another likeness of Spencer. So Spencer's really my example in my life of somebody who dreams big. And all of us have a little bit of dreamer in us, but some a lot more than others. So we'll get into actual outcome later, and that's actually the role or the hat of the goal setter. But the dreamer is meant to be very aspirational. So all of us have a part of ourselves or a time when we think about what could be, where we're very motivated and hopeful. A lot of times we shut out that part and we say, no, we're just going to play it safe and be us and do what everybody else is doing. But certain people, like Spencer, are much more prone to follow their dreams and go after it. So whether or not we're a dreamer, we can still go after big dreams and kind of put that perspective on our lives and think about each of the roles. That's actually going to be the homework for today, is think about the roles that you chose from last class and define a hope statement. I want you to think of a hope statement. So in my case, I want to be the Dale version of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, buff, cut, maybe a little more muscle, able to do backflips and beat people up. Okay, that's like my hope. It's not really that quantifiable. I started to quantify it with able to do backflips and able to beat people up. Those are a little more quantifiable, but it's a hope statement. I aspire to be that type of person. And then we get to the actual outcomes. Okay, I probably need to gain 10 pounds of muscle. I need to get hair implants. No, I don't care about that. I need to be able to do a backflip. I need to learn something. Actual outcomes are things that are specific. So the hope, we can't quantify. We only have words to quantify it. There aren't dates, there aren't numbers, there aren't quantities. Where an actual outcome, it follows more of the SMART goal model, where a SMART goal is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So it fits into more of a structure. So you may find that you're somebody, when dealing with somebody who's a dreamer or the hope guy, he's like, hey, this will be so amazing, I'm gonna be so buff. Well, what does that mean, Dale? Do you mean you wanna gain muscle? Do you want to run faster? Those are the types of things. So you wanna come up with your hope statement, and then you wanna come up with a list of actual outcomes. And that's what we want to do for your list of goals. So a lot of times when you talk to somebody about creating goals, they say, I'm gonna go to the gym more. You say, what are your resolutions for the year? I'm gonna go to the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to stop eating sugar. I'm going to do this or that. We're only talking about tactics, and tactics are great, and we're gonna talk about tactics in tomorrow's video. And tactics are actually what saves us from what I alluded to in the beginning of the video, where goals can be kind of discouraging and damaging. How many times have you known someone, or you done it yourself, where you run a marathon and then you don't train, you stop training and you stop running afterwards? That's no good. So a lot of times the tactics can actually save us and help us have more joy in the journey. And if you're more of a tactics person that is motivated by just living their day-to-day, then if you set your tactics based on your actual outcome and your hope, then you can just focus on your tactics because they will take you to where you want to go long term. If I created an exercise routine and regimen that's going to turn me into a Hugh Jackman over time, I don't really have to worry about Hugh. I don't really have to worry about the 10 pounds of muscle. I'm just going to act and do the things that I need to do day in, day out to become that person. So if you're still stuck on coming up with your hope statement, let me give you another example. My wife and I wanted to have more chill time in the house, okay? And we thought, well, we really need to raise our voice less at the kids and whatever. But that's just a tactic. Speaking more kindly to your children is a tactic. What the hope is that your kids feel loved. So another way to think about your hope is, or to get ideas around that, is think about what you would want people to say in your eulogy. So you've died, you're sitting in the pew at church as a spirit, right? And you're just listening to what people are saying about you. What are the types of things they're saying? And think about that. So what do you want them to say? What type of person do you want to be? So the homework for today is create the hope statements for each role in your life, and then create actual outcomes or SMART goals for each of those hope statements. So that's it for day number 3. Stoked to have you here with me. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe and click the bell so you can be alerted to this video and many others. And I will see you next time on day 4, where we're going to dive into tactics and specifics and really talk about how to ensure that you reach your actual outcomes and in turn your hopes. So thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow on the next video.